Morning Year 10, this is lesson 3 of your speaking and listening preparation, where you are going to write your speech text for your assessment that you'll do when school reopens, and you're writing a 5-minute speech followed by 5 minutes of questions and answers. So your learning objective for today is how do I choose my presentation topic, and you can just go ahead and do your work in your English book or in on the Word document that comes with this video. So how do I choose a good speech presentation topic? All right, so little numeracy starter for you. You have to speak for 5 minutes on average. When we're speaking at a kind of planned, careful rhythm, we can speak about 130 words a minute. So how many words can you say in 5 minutes? Do the maths, write it down. We'll check and see if you're right in a minute. All right, so as we spoke about in the last lesson, your speech needs to do a number of things in order for you to meet the criteria from the exam boards. So the first one that's really important is that your topic includes challenging and complex ideas. It doesn't have to be a really difficult topic that you choose, but it does have to have something within the topic that you're going to explain to the audience that is really complicated and is going to require you to have carefully thought through how you explain the idea. It's a really good idea if it's something that you personally care about. If it's something that you are passionate about, because you're required to show this kind of enthusiasm and engagement. So it's good to choose something that you've got some personal interest in. It's also a really good idea to choose a topic that you already know quite a lot about, or it's something that you're interested in. That way you're not relying on doing a lot of external research. You're using the knowledge in your head so that when you actually come to do your speech, you're less likely to kind of stumble because you actually know about the topic already. Finally, the fourth thing is that it's really good to choose something that will in some way interest and inspire others. So it doesn't have to be the topic itself that will be inspirational, but what it does need to do is have some element of it where you are going to be persuasive, that you're going to want to persuade the audience to agree with you about some part of it. Okay, so this table is in the Word document, or you can do it in your book, maybe as subheadings with some ideas below. Under each of these, you're going to think about one thing that you could do your talk on. So I've given you quite a few different areas, subject areas as it were. You're going to decide one thing that you could talk about. So the first one says school or education. Now, if you remember from last lesson, one of the examples that I gave was to do a speech on the topic of the food in the school canteen, which, as you know, is quite controversial. Lots of people have opinions about it. So that's the example of, under school or education, that's one speech idea that you could do. So I want you to think about school or education as a whole, primary, secondary, university, apprenticeships, exams, all of that kind of stuff. And I want to think about what is one topic that you could do your speech on. Something about our school, something about school in general, something about education. Okay, write one idea down. Okay, second one, pets, animals, wildlife. So this could be anything from pets that we have with our families at home, animals, animal cruelty, animal testing, wildlife, protection of animals, the zoos, theme parks that have animals doing entertainment. Again, it could be absolutely anything within that subject area. I want you to choose one thing that you could do your speech on and write it under that subheading or in your table. Okay, the environment and the climate. All right, so this is something that lots of people are interested in at the moment. How can we reduce climate change, make sure that the environment is protected? It may or may not be something that you're personally interested in, but there is going to be something in there that you could potentially do a talk about, whether it is something local, something national. When you talk about the environment, you could talk about anything from pollution of cars, to reducing the amount of plastic that we have, like plastic water bottles. So again, under that heading, I want you to write one idea. Okay, health and mental health. Okay, so this is everything from being healthy, healthy eating, exercise, you know, the NHS, sickness, illness, disease, mental health, anything from there that you could do a speech about. Write one thing under that heading. All right, money and business. Now, we've got very, very rich people in our world. We've got very, very poor people in our world. We've got businesses that make a lot of money, businesses that know a lot about us. For anyone that goes on Facebook or the internet knows, you know, these things, they're now tracking you. What could you do a speech on that's to do with money if you wanted to make it relevant to you as a teenager, someone who isn't yet part of the workforce? What could you talk about? All right, technology and gaming. This is a very wide one. And so we could look at all the way from how technology is used positively, how technology maybe is not as good. We could talk about gaming. You could look at the benefits, the negatives of gaming. If you're interested in gaming, that would be something that you could choose to talk about. Okay, then another one that's kind of related is social media and the internet. So you could look at topics connected with, again, what are some of the opinions, what are some of the challenging and complex ideas to do with social media use, maybe social media use in teenagers, the internet and children or teenagers. So for each of these things, you're writing one idea down underneath. Okay, TV, film, TV shows. So here we have, you know, you might think that's not necessarily very contentious, but there are, you know, all sorts of TV shows that are easily accessible, even though they've got a rating on them, to particularly vulnerable groups. Then we've got TV shows like Love Island, Big Brother, Jeremy Kyle. Some of those shows have been axed recently because of controversial issues. So again, choose something, write one idea down. People you admire. Now, if there is a celebrity or a well-known sports person or someone from history that you really admire, no doubt they will have had some struggles and challenges in their life, which gives you that kind of complex, challenging idea that you could talk about. No doubt there would have been different opinions about them. You know, people don't like everybody. And so you can choose a person that you admire and do your speech about them, as long as you're dealing with challenging and complex ideas. So write something under the person that you admire. All right. Art, theatre, music and culture. Now, there won't be something in there for all four of those that you'll be interested in, but there may well be if you're interested in art or theatre. However, music, everybody listens to music. There's some quite controversial opinions about different things in music. And, you know, you could choose a musician or a type of music and talk about the positives or negatives. And then finally, family and friends. So this is kind of looking at the criteria that said it's good to choose something that's that you have a personal interest in. Lots and lots of us have interesting stories, interesting things that have happened within our family or to our friendship groups that show really challenging ideas, different things that different opinions, and that would be a thing to choose as well. So I want you to have a think about that. For all of these topics, you should have written down one idea. Okay, so you're going to have a go with each of the ideas that you've written down now, and you're going to come up with speech titles for them to see how they kind of feel as a speech topic. So in your table, imagine that you've written what I've got on my table here. Teenagers should have to do chores every day. So I might have written that under the family one. Okay, it's quite a contentious topic in my family. So now I've got that as something that I want to talk about. I'm going to try writing 3 different speech titles for that topic just to see how it feels. And I've given you the sentence starters and some examples in my table here for you. So I've got, that's my topic, teenagers should do chores every day. And then I'm going to do a a why statement that goes with that. So, why teenagers should do chores every day. Sounds like a great speech topic, one that I would definitely want to go to. Okay? Or, if we wanted to flip it and not do it as a parent, you could do how to get out of doing your chores. All right? And that would be a speech by a teenager explaining how to get out of doing their chores. Okay? And then the last one that you're going to try is the importance of. Okay? The importance of giving children real responsibilities. So in there are a number of different ideas about chores and doing chores that have come out just by writing these titles. Okay, so you're going to use those 3 speech title sentence starters: why, how, and the importance of. And you're going to do that for 5 of the possible topics that you just wrote in the previous table. So again, you can fill this in the table on the Word document, or you can write it in your English book and email a photo of it over. The examples are all there for you, so you can just go ahead, choose 5 topics and have a go at writing different speech titles for them. All right, so you've been thinking about speech topics. Now's the time to commit. You need to choose your final topic and write the title of your speech. I need you to email it to me. If you're in my English class, to your email teacher. To your English teacher if you're not in my English class, by next lesson, so that they can double check that your topic will work really well. All right. Well done, Year 10. See you next time.